Hello and welcome to APTN National News this Monday evening. I'm Sav Jonesa. Thanks for joining us. York Factory Cree Nation in northern Manitoba has taken to Facebook to declare a state of emergency, saying 600 members could be trapped as wildfires burn in the area. The Facebook post says low water levels on the Nelson River have shut down the ferry that is the main way in or out of the community. According to York Factory, the Kiosk Hydro Dam is causing the low water levels. They say downed phone lines, expensive air transportation, and wildfires at the Tatasquayak Cree Nation an hour away also led to the state of emergency being called. Manitoba Transportation Minister Lisa Naylor said in an emailed statement that the ongoing drought has caused the unusually low water levels, and the government is closely monitoring the situation. York Factory has called a press conference for Tuesday morning in Winnipeg, where they expect to get a response from the Manitoba government. York Landing is more than 900 kilometers north of Winnipeg. The Tsuu'tina Nation near Calgary announced a partnership with the Calgary Fire Department on Wednesday, which would help firefighting efforts for both communities. APTN's Chris Stewart has more.
Firefighters from both the Tsuu'tina Nation and Calgary gathered at the Tsuu'tina Fire Department to celebrate and formally announced their new partnership. A partnership designed to help save lives.
This is not just a partnership. It is a step towards stronger ties between urban and Indigenous fire services. A chance to share knowledge, to learn from one another, and to build trust through actions.
And both can learn from each other.
What's new now is that Calgary has offered some of their resources, such as their educational pieces and just education on awareness, and we're adopting some of that. And also what we're giving back is certain protocols that they might run into when they reach some of those urban Indigenous individuals out there.
Personnel, equipment, and training will be shared between both the Tsuu'tina Nation and the Calgary Fire Departments.
Tsuu'tina is a valued neighbor and a valued friend of the City of Calgary and Calgary Fire Department. We've got an excellent mutual aid agreement where we will send resources to support incidents at Tsuu'tina when they require help. And actually at times Calgary Fire Department will reach out to Tsuu'tina that there's things such as the tender and bush buggies that are a huge asset for pockets of our city.
And Kidda, a fire safety equipment manufacturer, was here. They donated $86,000 in smoke alarms for the two communities to give to members. Kidda are going to 16 Indigenous communities in Alberta, Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec, and donating nearly $400,000 worth of smoke alarms. Stats Canada shows that in 2020, 1 in 8 people who die from a house fire did not have a working fire alarm.
This marks a significant step towards addressing the urgent need for enhanced fire safety in Indigenous communities within Canada. But our efforts focus on more than just the provision of smoke alarms. It's about creating an action plan tailored to each community that ensures these essential devices are being installed in homes.
Both fire services advise people to check their fire extinguishers and their fire alarms monthly. Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Tsuu'tina Nation, Alberta.
A group that calls themselves Guardians of the Territory have been staging blockades and protests across First Nation territory in Quebec. This is in response to Quebec legislation Bill 97, which the national government says intends to modernize the forestry regime. Savannah Craig has more.
A group of land guardians set up a blockade outside of forestry company Domtar's sawmill in Saint-Prime, Quebec. The Guardians want to convince passerbys that First Nations people should have a say in Bill 97. Bill 97 is legislation tabled in April that Natural Resource Minister Mété Blanchette Fizina says will modernize the forestry regime by creating 3 zones. Dave Pettiquet is leading the protests. He says those involved in Bill 97 shouldn't make decisions impacting Innu territory.
C'est les chefs de territoire, les familles, les chefs héréditaires à décider ce qu'il fait dans le territoire pour les familles. Ce n'est pas le conseil des banques ni le gouvernement. ni les forestiers, et surtout pas d'habitat résolu qui appartient à une firme étrangère de nos vies.
Petaquay and other land guardians have been going community to spread their message.
Le chemin principal est au 62.
Just a few weeks ago, APTN News spoke with Petaquay and Wematashi, the heart of Atikamekw territory, where he was building teepees to block logging trucks from entering the territory. Petaquay says this fight didn't start with Bill 97.
Depuis 2023, qu'on est actif, on n'a jamais abandonné le combat, on a toujours été continu. C'est vrai, il y a eu un moment, c'était tranquille, mais tranquille pour le monde, mais pas pour nous autres.
Petaquay staged a blockade in Wematashi in 2023 over the Indian Act Band Council signing a forestry agreement with the Quebec government. He says community members were not consulted.
Que nous sommes dans des terres non cédées et non conquises par la grande nation Anishinaabe, Innu, Algonquin, Atikamekw. On n'a jamais cédé quoi que ce soit.
Cette table a été mise en place à la suite du dépôt du projet de loi. Donc, encore une fois, on est mis devant le fait accompli.
This week, the AFNQL and 5 other chiefs announced that they will not be hosting consultation with the Quebec government because the Natural Resources Minister refuses to make a clear and formal commitment to an appropriate Bill 97 consultation process.
Ils ont tout le temps agi de cette façon-là, en donnant plein de promesses aux Autochtones, mais sans jamais aboutir à leurs promesses. C'est ça le gouvernement colonialiste.
Fellow land guardian Guy Paul says it's not simply about forestry. It's about implementing legislation that affects the original nations without including them in decision making.
On veut avoir nos droits, dire comment qu'on veut avoir les coupes sur nos territoires, pas des coupes à blanc comme aujourd'hui.
He says to maintain decision making over their land, Bill 97 cannot be passed.
Parce que si elle passe, on n'aura plus droit de parole sur nos territoires.
The guardians of the land are now working with a law firm. They say legal aid will help support their fight against deforestation carried out without their consent. Savannah Craig, APTN National News, Montreal.
In Winnipeg, a ribbon-cutting ceremony marked the grand opening of Tsuu'tina Gas and Convenience, the first retail business to launch at the Nawe Tsuu'tina development. The 64-hectare development is the largest urban reserve in Canada. It was established in 2022 when the former Kapyong barracks were repatriated to the Treaty 1 Development Corporation, which is owned by a group of 7 First Nations in Manitoba. Tsuu'tina Gas and Convenience is open 24/7 and employs a 96% Indigenous workforce. At the Friday ceremony, guests including Treaty 1 President Chief E.J. Fontaine, SCO Grand Chief Jerry Daniels, and Winnipeg Mayor Scott Gillingham spoke about the significance of the development. AFN National Chief Cindy Woodhouse-Nepanak described it as a model for economic reconciliation.
This landmark development will represent the largest multi-use project in modern Winnipeg history and the largest First Nation economic zone in this country. Treaty 1 has fought so hard to be a leader of what economic reconciliation looks like in this country, and I'm so proud to have been a part of advocating alongside Treaty 1 nations. It is an inspiration for all First Nations across this country to pursue their own collective governance models, from returning lands and improving economic development opportunities. The success of this place is a shining example of what our people can accomplish across the country.
A youth who loves to fish is heading to the United States to show off his skills in a fishing competition. We will tell you about his fight to get there after the break. Welcome back. A youth from Hiawatha First Nation in Ontario is preparing for a fishing competition in the state of Georgia. Damien Kimball, along with his grandparents, are packing up to hit the road this week. Annette Francis met up with him before they left.
The 2.75-inch gizzard shad imitates a minnow. I have it on a drop shot rig, this is what it's called, so it's a tungsten weight here, and I have about 10 inches with a size 2 hook here, smaller profile, and what this does is just sits above in the water column, imitates a bait fish.
15-year-old Damien Kimball knows a lot about fishing. It's been his passion for over a decade.
I just grew up around the right area, good fishery around here, a lot of guys do it. Just something I love, my ancestors used to do. I've started off fishing with my grandpa when I was really young and just grew up doing it with them, and eventually got in some boats with some other older guys, fishing with them, and doing it by myself now, doing tournaments and all that.
Kimball qualified for the Junior Series National Championship earlier this year by placing second in a high school competition. For months he'd been preparing for the competition, which will be held in Evans, Georgia next week. But with a sudden change in rules, where second-place finishers were now not qualified, he almost didn't get to go. According to his grandma, Stephanie, it was a huge disappointment.
Been a big thing for us, the fundraising that we've done and trying to, prepare, getting time off of work and stuff like that to go down there to have him experience this.
It took some time, but she successfully convinced the organizers that all this preparation work would be in vain. So they allowed him back in, and now he's hyped and ready to go.
It's going to be an awesome tournament, 250 boats down there, a lot of guys from all over the world. It's going to be fun, really good experience, and hopefully I get to do it next year.
Kimball knows his stuff. He does his own research and takes whatever tips he can from other fishermen. According to his grandfather, when it comes to fishing, he's a natural.
We started with him when he was probably about 4 years old out in the boat with a Spiderman fishing rod, and he caught the biggest fish that was about that big, and the excitement in his eyes showed that he was going to continue fishing for a long time.
Win or lose next week, Kimball plans to continue competing well into the future.
Come back up here and do more tournaments. I got a qualifier on Lake Erie to go back down there next year somewhere in the States, so we'll see how that goes, and yeah.
Good luck, Damien. Annette Francis, APTN National News, Hiawatha First Nation.
Very sweet story. In Winnipeg, 2 emerging Red River Métis artists recently showcased their work in an exhibition called Tether. It brought together 7 Manitoba artists whose work is inspired by the land. Dominique Consuelo Carrier is a Red River Métis and Mexican Mestiza artist, and Kai Quiring is an artist with Red River Métis and Mennonite roots. Sierra Bedden stopped by the gallery 226 in downtown Winnipeg to take a tour.
My name's Dominique Consuelo Carrier. I'm Mexican, and I say mestiza as well from my mom's side. And then we have ties to the Oaxaca region and Campeche region as well in Mexico. Carrier, or Carrier, which is like the more French way to say it, is related to my Michif ancestors through my dad's side of the family.
My name is Kai. I'm a Two-Spirit artist here in Manitoba, living out in Treaty 3 currently, and I'm a multi-medium artist, so I'm a tattoo practitioner, painter, illustrator. Primarily what is my influence is how is it that I am connected with the land, with my environment, with the animals that I own, the animals that I hunt, the animals that inhabit my area.
Over the past year, I spent half of the year in Mexico and a little bit of that in Central America as well. A big part of that was me wanting to spend time on the land in Mexico, spend time around that culture. I spent some time with my great aunt down in Mexico in a place called Pinotepa where my grandpa was born. Throughout the trip, I was practicing the knowledge that she taught me, that beadwork technique. This one I feel represents a lot of the things I'm trying to create, which is inspired by my identity and my cultures and how they all kind of live within me.
One of my paintings is of 2 bison, so I was able to go up north in La Paz in the fall time and was able to harvest a bison. Some of them did come towards the head bull and like kind of said goodbye and was like sniffing him, but the rest of the herd, all the younger bulls, were just trying to figure out who is top dog now. So it's just interesting getting to witness that whole thing and like see how, you know, their herd, big family, how do they shift when losing something.
I really like kind of blending, I feel like, our traditional arts with I guess like contemporary or like different kind of ways of seeing tradition, how they change throughout time and are influenced by different things. So I feel like that kind of is shown within the denim.
The dragonfly ones were just from spending so much time at the lakes and like actually just getting to sit and watching the dragonflies dance above the water and stuff and actually just like listening to what they had to say. The heart portrait is basically like how I think like process everything and how I view my own heart and how I view my intentions towards making pieces.
There's a bunch of collectives throughout Oaxaca City that get together, and it's like a lot of it is tied to like political statements and things, and they make these huge pieces. They're like incredible. You walk through the markets and you see these big wooden masks, and they're used for ceremonies or dances. There's like a bunch of different ones. A jaguar is a very common one. I wanted to also add a little bit of like the Métis element to it too. So kind of you see like the little florals coming out.
This hide piece, it's like totally, it's just honoring because I do lots of hunting with my family. So deer is like one of our main sources of eating for our freezers and stuff. So it's just acknowledging almost like that whole aspect of the hunt. And like, what am I going to do with everything afterwards?
My art is very influenced by my cultures, my communities, the traditions. So yeah, I put a lot of my identity in the things that I make. They connect in many ways, and then sometimes I think they're very, very different. But kind of having that mix of both kind of like settler culture and then also like Indigenous culture kind of live, within myself.
My Opa was huge into like herbalisms and identifying the plants and stuff, when like on my mom's side it was very much like we didn't have access to ceremony. They kept it very suppressed and stuff, and it was very hidden, and no one wanted to acknowledge that we were Michif. We've always known we were Michif and stuff, but it's just like, how do we get access to that knowledge? So being able to do that with my siblings has been a huge thing as growing up, and even bringing that into, you know, with my Opa and talking about all those stories. So it really goes hand in hand with how everything is inspired again from the land.
We need to take one last break now, but in a moment's time, we'll tell you about the latest win for a matriarch in the film industry. That's coming up next. Welcome back. Time now for our photo of the day. APTN News might not be able to interview your favorite pet, but we do want to see some pictures. Send us photos of your adorable furry little friends, and they might just be our next photo of the day. Be sure to include any details, such as their name, along with something about them. Send those photos to share@aptn.ca, and then tune in each night to see if your friend is our next photo of the day. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's weather forecast. Tomorrow's weather will see 25 and rain in St. John's and 28 and some sun in Charlottetown. It'll be 23 and raining in Cartwright and 16 in Kuujjuaq. Quebec City will be 28 and some sun. Montreal will be 31 and lots of sun. Southern Ontario will see lots of rain, 32 in Toronto and London. Timmins will be 22 and rainy and 24 and rain in Wawa. Churchill will be a sunny 17 and lots of cloud in Puckatawagan. Gimli and Winnipeg will be 23 and some sun. Regina will be 24 and raining, 23 and rain in North Battleford. Stony Rapids and Uranium City will be 21 and some sun. La Ronge will be 22 and lots of sun. Lots of sun in Alberta tomorrow, 27 in High Level and Peace River. 25 in Edmonton and 23 in Calgary. Vancouver will be a sunny 24 and 28 in Bella Coola. Fort Nelson, 27, Prince George, 29 and rain. It will be 24 in Watson Lake and 19 in rain in Old Crow. Yellowknife will be 21, 27 in rain in Norman Wells. Sax Harbor will be 12 in some sun, 19 in sun in Tuktoyaktuk. Whale Cove will be 16 and 13 in Cambridge Bay. 10 in Iqaluit, 6 in Resolute. The third annual East by Northwest Summit just wrapped up in Vancouver, where the best in the film, TV, digital, streaming, and animation industries got together to learn from one another and make new connections. And for the second year in a row, an Indigenous woman was honored. APTN's Tina House has this story.
It's a proud day for Doreen Manuel as she celebrates her latest award.
This is my Global Connector East by Northwest Award that I received from the conference, from the gala. Well, they recognize me for all the work that I've been doing over these past 20-some years within the film industry, but media industry also. I'm a matriarch for the IM4, Virtual Augmented IA program, and we train Indigenous people.
Presented by East by Northwest, the Global Connector Award is given to individuals or organizations for their contributions to global connectivity, innovation, and collaboration. For the third year in a row, it's sponsored by the Racial Equity Screen Office. East by Northwest is designed to highlight, elevate, and empower the next generation of creatives across film, TV, streaming, gaming, and animation. Through workshops, seminars, and panels, attendees get to learn from producers, funders, agents, talent executives, and policymakers. And for Manuel, this award symbolizes a step forward for all Indigenous people.
We're trying to get ahead of the game, because in the film industry, which started in the late 1800s, we weren't able to participate in the beginning because of all, well, the obvious reasons. And then by 1970s, when the National Film Board started the film program that they had for Indigenous people, that's when we really started to come into the industry a lot more, and we're playing catch up all the time.
As a leader in the film and television industry, she's honored to help inspire the next generation.
Choose a few different departments to work in. Like if you're an actor, also learn how to be behind the camera. If you're behind the camera, take some acting classes and choose a few different departments, because you know it's really hard to work your way up to a status where you can continually be hired in the same department of your choosing.
Manuel was one of 6 recipients. and she took this moment to thank those that helped her along the way.
Thank you, Napika's creator, for giving me the skills and ability to help our people. I'm always grateful. Thank you for this acknowledgement.
Tina House, APTN National News, Vancouver.
That brings us to the end of our newscast this beautiful Monday evening. I hope you were moved by the stories our reporters brought to you today. If you're looking for more information on an issue we shared or to learn about other things impacting Indigenous peoples across Turtle Island, please visit our website at aptnnews.ca. I'm Sav Jonesa, and from everyone here at APTN, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Take care.